Hello, everybody. This is Craig Vettles. I'm the Copilot Project Manager here at Consonis. I just wanted to give you a little update on some of the new features and functions we've released for October for Copilot version 2. So I'm just going to go through and point out some of the new options that are available to all of our users. So first off, we've got some new site enrichments. For those of you who are rehab or pharmacy clients of Consonis, we have a new workflow tool called the PD3 Crosscheck. This is designed to help you with the documentation under PDPM and make sure your IDT team is making all the best clinical judgments and getting all their documentation in order before doing your MDS. We also added in some new features on the user creation just to help prevent some problems. So when you create a new user, if you have an admin account, you might see just a little alert there that says to make sure to add a report group and an entity group. That way you can make sure that anybody that you set up can actually see the reporting on your system. And we've added some improvements to make it a little easier to navigate through and make the page load a little faster. We also got a brand new data model set up for PDPM. So we've actually been able to grab from the EHRs all the new tables for PDPM, including the new field I0020B and section J. And we've built new reporting on that model. This is all ready to go for PCC. If you are using another EHR, we still have those reports live. The model is ready to go, but we might be contacting you just with some questions as far as making sure that we've got all the data mapped correctly for that. So if you're on a different EHR, expect an email from us shortly with any additional details regarding PDPM for your particular EHR. Also, we have new reports. We have the PDPM Auditor. We have a brand new version using the new model. And we also have a new report called the PDPM Analyzer. All of these reports, of course, have our training videos on them. I'll show you the reports very briefly during our little function overview. But you can always go to our training videos as well. So on the function showcase, I'm going to show you first how to customize reports with filters using our two new PDPM reports. So I'm going to exit out of our presentation here, go to Copilot. I'm here in my demo account. I'm going to go to PDPM. You'll see we have a new auditor and a new analyzer. Our old PDPM auditor is still available and will be available through the end of the year, so you can look at your historic data as well. But first I'm going to go to the analyzer here. And the feature I kind of want to point out is how you can use the filters to make different uses out of the report. So we set up the PDPM Analyzer to really help during the process when your MDS coordinator or your medical records or your RCMs are working on that MDS assessment, and you're wanting to get a estimated rate for an in-progress MDS, then review and see if there's anything you're missing so you can update that MDS before you submit it. And make sure you're getting the appropriate rate for your patients. For that reason, you can see we've set the filters here so it's just the last 14 days, and it's just in progress MDS assessments and 5-day assessments. But making some simple changes here on the filters can open up new uses for the reports. So if I wanted to drill into details for an actual patient who is already in the building, I would change this from in progress to accepted, completed, or submitted, and then I would pull the patients here. Now, because we're so new on PDPM, my example data set, which is pulled from real patient data from one of our sister facilities, and the names are scrambled, doesn't actually have any patients, so you can't see anything there. But the idea is that you can use these filters, and instead of doing the last 14 days, you could easily do the last 12 weeks, 12 months, 12 calendar months. I think we're set up this report so you can go back all the way to 5 years. Now, we don't have enough data to do that, but as we go forward, you'll have that ability. So that's some example of how you can use the filters. I'll also go to the PDPM auditor here, the new version, and just kind of show you that you can do the same thing here. So again, we've set this up to really look at patients in the building, and because for this particular building that we're basing this demo data on, we don't have any completed or submitted MDS assessments, but I could change that if I actually wanted to put data into this report. I clear this out. Now I've got data. These are mostly from in-progress MDS assessments. And again, if I wanted to switch from 5-day to IPA, I can do that here. One quick note, our IPAs do not include the transitional IPAs. They are just all your standard IPAs in this particular data set. So let me go back to the slideshow here. So we just talked about customizing reports with filters. The PDPM reports are not the only reports that you can do that. Just by changing the filters, you can look at a wide variety of different things. So rather than looking at a short stay readmission, by changing the filters and changing the payers, you can look at a long stay readmission as well. So there's a lot of options out there. Another thing I wanted to show you was exporting data from tables. Again, this applies to multiple reports. Anytime you see a table on our system, you can export that data into Excel. And I think that's going to be very useful with our new PDPM auditor. So again, let me jump back to the site here. So here's the PDPM auditor. Now let's say I wanted to drill into the details to see how I'm coding my NTA components. So I come here to NTA. I can see all of my patients here. I can see all 50 of my NTA comorbidities and what questions on the MDS assessment are getting coded to that. And then here I can see the patient and the point value. Now, if I had a particular patient or a particular NTA comorbidity, I could drill down to that. But let's say I just wanted to do a big review over a month's worth of data to see what's being recorded. Well, it's easier to do that in Excel, and I can do that really easily. So you see if I hover over the table here, you'll see a little 3 ellipses pop up, and that says More Options. If I click on that, I can go to Export Data. I can go to Summarize Data, pick Excel, and then that data will export out to a table here in Excel that I can easily open up and use. Now again, I'm using Chrome, so where that Excel sheet might pop up might be a little bit different for you. But if you're using another browser, just look for that downloaded file and you can grab it there. So again, you can see I've got all of the different NTA comorbidities, I've got the scores, and I've got the different patients here. And if you have an Excel guru on your staff, you can hand this off to them and you can answer a ton of different questions about NTA comorbidities or any data that we have on a table inside of our system. So lastly, just go back here, go back, we've looked at filters, we've looked at exporting data. I just wanted to do one quick thing to kind of showcase the PD3 cross-check for those of you who are pharmacy and rehab clients. And that's how to change the daily rates. That's a new thing that we just added today, and today is October 9th. So I'm going to go into here, I'm going to go back, go to PDPM. If you have the PD3 cross-check available, it'll appear here. Right now, the PD3 cross-check is available for PCC clients, and again, only those that have rehab or pharmacy. Contact your area director or your consultant pharmacist for more details. Those of you who are already using it, this will look very familiar. You can see here I can grab a facility. I'm going to grab this demo facility here. You can see it shows all patients from days 1 through 7. The idea here is I can open up the form and it'll guide me through a workflow to help make sure I've got all the documentation correctly. And then I'm capturing all the key details before I set my ARD date. New thing that we just added today is you have the ability to select different payer types. So if you have some managed care payers who are going to be paying under PDPM, you can actually open up the form for those patients now. So if I select managed care, you can see I've picked up a managed care patient. Now, at this point in time, it will show both those managed care patients who are on a PDPM payer and those who aren't. In a future update, we hope, especially for PCC, to be able to find the field that's used to determine that payer is on PDPM and then filter out those non-PDPM managed care patients. But for right now, you just have to make sure to select the right patient. Now, I'm going to open up this here to open up the form. And again, you can contact your area director or us if you need more training on how to use this. Now I'm just going to make some selections here so I can get a daily rate. I'm going to select a functional score. I'm going to select whether they've gone through a major surgical procedure. And then I'm just going to answer some of these SLP components here so I can get an SLP rate. And if there were any SLP comorbidities in PCC, they would pull through here to a table, but there's not for this particular patient. I go save and continue. And based on the answers on the previous page, plus all the ICD-10s that are currently in PCC, I can see for this patient the ICD-10, only if it's primary. I can see the clinical category. I can see the PT rate, including the CMI, the OT rate, including the CMI, and the SLP rate, including the CMI. Now, assuming these are all clinically appropriate to skill on, and again, you would need to use your best judgment as an IDT team, you can select the ICD-10 code that gives you the best daily rate. In this case, I don't actually see any difference between all of these. Now, one thing that I did want to show you how to use this report, and this is a new feature, is you can shift from urban to rural. So we're using urban rates currently, but if you wanted to change the wage index to rural, you can do that by selecting rural here, and that'll change this table. So that concludes our features and functions update. As you know, if you have any questions about any of the new features, any of the new reporting we showed you today, feel free to reach out to us at copilot@consonushealth.com. We'd be happy to talk through that for you. Have a lovely day. Cheers. Bye.